What is going on, everybody? This is your moron with the conscience. We outside. And I tried to record this like 5 or 6 times. Can't get it right, but we're gonna keep going at it. We don't give up. Quitters never win, and winners never quit, as they say. They used to say that. But nevertheless, uh, I'll be doing the political content more most of the time. I might talk about other stuff, but usually it's political. But the manosphere, of course, I'm in the kind of the sector of the manosphere. I watch it just to get a laugh, to say the least, because it is hilarious. But it is intertwining with politics, and I can no longer ignore it. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? It's I'm not saying I haven't spoke on it before, but it's so prevalent now. And I think after the win with Trump, it's turned on. Like now we can do it, and I think we've been seeing events that are good and bad that are reacting to the manosphere even being in there. But nevertheless, I was watching on Twitter this little CNN interview. Of course, I know the Maga and the manosphere won't like it, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Hold on, let's watch it for a little bit. Fair use, fair use. Like this young lady started. There you go.
They speak liberal, they have liberal friends, and then they go online and they are a white supremacist.
Whoa, cool. Started with a bang. Started with a bang already, right? Hold on, we're just gonna look up the definition. Well, no, we'll wait. But she said liberal. All right, let's might as well start it on over so we can.
Friends, and then they go online and they speak liberal, they have liberal friends, and then they go online and they are a white supremacist.
This is Vera Papasova. She spent the last year dating far-right men in New York City for a story for Cosmopolitan magazine.
They're the most insecure.
I wonder if I could do that. I wonder if I can date Republican ladies. Get an insight on how they feel. They probably noticed me coming though, right?
Men in New York City for a story for Cosmopolitan magazine.
They're the most insecure men I've ever sat down with. It was really difficult to have some of these dates because they were so insecure, because they don't really know who they are, and they.
That's funny. That's funny that she said that. She said that these men don't know who they are. Like you would think that the manosphere, those men would definitely know who they are and would be able to express who they are, what they stand for, their morals, their characters, not so much of the things that they have acquired, but what type of person they are. Not even man, what type of person they are, because go ahead.
They don't know how to figure that out.
She said the men she dated got all their news and information from the so-called manosphere.
Okay, so it's official. The manosphere and politics have intertwined, as per the young ladies.
They did not listen to anything else. They're only listening to independent media, and they're only listening to men talking to men.
The manosphere is made up of macho podcasters and influencers.
He called them macho podcasters.
To men talking to men.
The manosphere is made up of macho podcasters and influencers.
There's no such thing as an independent female.
Most women have zero concept of like money.
Females don't have it.
What? Like you see, this is kind of the issue with the manosphere that I have. They don't really see women as people. They're people. Like some of them are going to be good and some of them are going to be bad. But they're people. They almost see them as objects, or not even, I don't know, like maids or servants. They want to be very subservient to them. That's why submissive is such a key thing in there. But this is just my opinion. Let's run it back. Come on.
Influencers.
There's no such thing as an independent female.
Most women have zero concept of like money.
Females don't have independent thought.
It's a
You see what I'm saying? Females don't have independent thought. That makes no sense. That's the one thing we do know, that they do have independent thoughts. Now, we might not like the things that they think, but they definitely, it's crazy.
It's a space where UFC fighters are among those who reign supreme.
They love the UFC guys. They love the MMA guys because those guys do what they can. They're modern gladiators. They're badass.
Badass like
So, I could see that macho bravado being a key factor in the manosphere too. Like, I'm tough and rough and let's keep
Jake Shields, a former UFC star turned podcaster.
All right. Now I'm starting to feel nervous.
That's how they
Thanks for
do
having
it.
us. Yeah, of course.
Who I met at an
That's all
MMA
right,
gym
kitty.
in Las Vegas.
Like all great MMA pros.
I know this is gonna sound a little biased, but watch out, Kitty. Speed it up a little bit. Look, I looking like I'm about to wrestle with a man. Yes, you are, but okay. Watch how Kitty dude looks. Not the CNN reporter, but the MMA fighter.
KO. This is CNN. Do you miss being full-time pro? Like in terms of
You know, of course I miss it. To go from professional athlete, which is the highest of highs, to retirement.
And I
You
guess
have
the
to find, the
podcast.
podcast has helped. You could fall into depression if you just go from the most amazing career where you're famous and spotlights to all of a sudden you're a nobody.
Sure.
Oof. Think about that. Think about what he just said. He said he's the highest of heights, and then to go to a nobody. So what are his podcast listeners? Because they're not all professional sports people, so they nobodies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's that mentality that he think he a nobody. God say, as long as you're waking up, it's a purpose for you, right? No.
Like other podcasters in the manosphere, Jake regularly hosts controversial guests.
And I named the podcast Fighting Back. I feel like we have to fight back what we're told we're allowed to do. I just don't like to be told you're not allowed to talk to this person. Like, why can't I talk to him? I'm not saying I agree with his ideology, but I should hear what he has to say.
He's hosted the former Grand Wizard.
Okay. I dig that, to have a conversation with somebody, but it almost seems like a certain sector, especially on the conservative side, like the Tim Pools, the Joe Rogans, the Theo Von, when they have guests on like this, they almost make their guest message palatable, like it's acceptable. And you'll hear later on when the gentleman is talking to, I believe it's a gentleman of the Patriot Front. I can't remember his name, but we're gonna look into that. Mind me, somebody put Patriot Front in the comments to remind me, if you still hear Patriot Front. But he almost makes it seem like his message is palatable, and it's not as bad as you think it is.
Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan.
Today I have a very, very special guest, Dr. David Duke. I know you're controversial, but I have no idea how controversial.
And Thomas Russo, the leader of the white supremacist group Patriot Front.
Let's go where we disagree a little bit.
Yes,
let's hit race, because you're a white only group?
So the organization only allows people.
Let's hit
group Patriot Front.
Let's go where we disagree a little bit. Let's hit race.
Patriot Front.
Did you catch it? Let's go where we disagree a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit.
Let's go where we disagree a little bit. Let's hit race, because you're a white only group?
So the organization only allows people of American ethnicity, and all Americans, I believe, come from Europe. So they're white.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad you asked me. I believe that all Americans deserve to be an American, but here's the kicker. Only people from Europe. Just think what he just said. People from Europe are only Americans. Fuck. What about the people who were here before you? Well, that's the arrogance, the caucasity, as they say.
And all Americans, I believe, come from Europe.
A little bit.
Yes.
Let's hit race because but I had no idea how controversial.
And Thomas Russo, the leader of the white supremacist group Patriot Front.
Let's go where we disagree a little bit.
Yes, sure.
Let's hit race because you're a white only group?
So the organization only allows people of American ethnicity, and all Americans, I believe, come from Europe. So they're white.
Oh, one more time. I gotta hear it one more time because that's just crazy.
Let's hit race because you're a white only group?
So the organization only allows people of American ethnicity, and all Americans, I believe, come from Europe. So they're white.
The true heirs of the American spirit fight on! Yeah, no, I understand and talk to these guys, but I've also not brought anyone hateful. If I do, I'm going to be really, really on top of them.
But so you
Really
say
on
that you
top
ever
of
brought
them?
someone hateful on, right?
Uh,
People will say, well, you brought on
Yeah.
the Grand Wizard of the KKK, you brought on Patriot Front.
Yeah.
They're hateful.
No, I think those are excellent questions, but people go and watch the actual interviews, I think they would be like, oh, this guy's not near as hateful as if I expect it.
But Vera says hate isn't what the men she dated were really looking for.
One of these guys brought me to a political meeting.
And did they talk about politics?
Barely. They talked about, it was a bunch of men complaining about girlfriends and wives, regurgitating and
Complaining about girlfriends and they want to that's what I'm saying. A lot of these dudes want women to be subservient to them. And this is my thing with submission and all that talk about women should be submissive to a man. If a woman is going to be submissive to you, maybe we should big screen this one. This is a moment right here, guys. This is a moment. Just give us a second. It's a moment right here. If a woman is going to be submissive to you, she's going to give her submission to you. You can't force it. You can't tap it out. This isn't an MMA fight. She has to be willing to give it to you. And if you got to ask, or if you got to choke her out, would you even really want it? When you want it just to give it to you? Because if she's giving that to you, that means she trusts you enough to be the man that provides for her, she feels that you're secure enough, or you make her feel secure enough that she can share her vulnerabilities with you, being submissive to you, doing what you want her to do. Like, come on, yeah, it's fucking not rocket science. Excuse my French. Forking. Send me $5 since I cussed. Oh, let's get back to it real quick. Finish it up. Under this 15, we got 2 minutes. Let's go.
Andrew Tate type of advice about how to train your girlfriend, how to train your wife to be submissive. And so this group was supposed to be a political group, but they're talking about relationship problems. And the fact that that's what most of the time was spent on, you don't need to be a neo-Nazi. You need therapy.
So
The Appeal of Jake's podcast speaks to a need among young men in this country that Vera says can't be ignored.
You have to incentivize someone.
And that's why we're here, guys. We're here to help young men because I'm an old fool. And hopefully you won't wind up like me. I can help you. Just don't listen to, first thing, stop listening to Andrew Tate, and Myron Gates, Tommy Sotomayor, all them dudes. Stop listening to. Go your own way. It's time to go your own way.
And to want to be better. You can't just say, let's make men better. The thing about these guys is their biggest support system is online, but that also is very isolating, and isolation is what breeds hatred.
Groups like Patriot Front offer community, but community based on racism and hate.
People have to really think about, do you have the capacity to talk to people that you don't agree with? Because that one nice conversation you might have might change someone's day enough to not have to seek out help in an online support group, which is actually a bunch of white supremacists using political beliefs as an excuse for how they feel.
Whew, there is so many layers to this. So many layers. But we're going to keep delving into it. But I got the video out the way. I'm good. But this is your moron with the conscience, aka conscious moron. Appreciate the pull up, the like, the supports, the subscriptions. I mean, that's, subscribing. Remember, without you, there would be no moron. Y'all be safe. Peace. Oh, I almost made it.